Smoker on the go, Apiary 1, visit 15, 31st of May. I've decided I'm going to do that colony last because they were a bit jumpy last time. I robbed some honey off these and I robbed some honey off them as well, so they're going to be more jumpy this week if all the flying bees or guard bees haven't died off yet. So we'll start down the bottom there, same trick as down at Apiary 2. We'll have to check for a queen and reorganise, same here, same here. So we'll wander down there and get going. Before we start, I'm just going to do each one individually because yeah, is there anything we can tell? Well, we've just seen pollen go in there. We know there's a laying queen in there. I'm not quite sure what's going on in there yet. There are drones coming in and out. There's another drone coming in. There's a fair bit of angsty noise there. This one we know we've got a queen, might have to give them an extra super now. Lots of drones in there. Lots of pollen there, so we know we've got a laying queen. And yet to be discovered. So I've been being hassled by bees already. So yeah, we'll just do them individually. So I'll get set up. So the reason I'm going to do these individually, I'm going to take each hive to bits individually and put it together, is because if there's anything that we need to do, I'd rather get them finished just in case we get one that turns a little bit like last week. Those second one down up there, they're a bit jumpy still, and I don't know why that is. It's a bit boring, and it may be they have to go as well. Or we just have to, if the daughter's a nice temperament colony, what we might do is just knock the queen out and then put her colony on top of them, unite them, and then call it good. But we'll just see what the temperament of the daughter's like first, I think, because as we've discovered, everything goes on temperament for me anyway. I just can't be bothered to deal with the hassle of, you know, fighting them. That's heavy. And there's a lot of bees in here. So this queen, and you can see all the orange bees in here already, but why was the colony down there aggressive and these aren't? I don't know. Famous last words. I better not speak too loud or they might hear me. So there are a lot of bees in here and these will want to swarm again, so we're going to have to give them another super. Again, we're quite a distance off June the 21st, which is the crucial date. And people walking by, sorry. A few cup cells here. Dry. Another one was over here somewhere, here we are. So they might be thinking about superseding her. So there's a full slab of brood there, so that's 1, 1.5, because there's half each side there, so I'll count that as half of one side. Full slab of brood there, so she's going for it. Second year, third year actually. Another solid frame of brood, few cup cells. Nothing, 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 nothing. Another solid brame. So yeah, these are on the verge of exploding again. So they're definitely going to need another super. Now the ones, there is an argument, if you took the ones next door to bits, because they haven't had any bees coming through, you might be able to rob a frame from them and stick it on here. But I think, see, there's a waggle dance going on here somewhere, and I think these bees have, they've found some more food somewhere. They're onto it. So I'm just going to give them another super to go at. Oh, look at this. Absolutely chock-a-block with brood and lots of cup cells. So they're thinking about it again. And we don't really want that happening. Loads of grubs. More cup cells. Massive eggs and grubs. Look at that lovely lot all round here. Gorgeous, amazing for a second season 3-year-old queen. And there she is. Stunning. Amazing that her daughter was such an absolute nightmare. How is that even possible? I don't know. Is the answer to that question. Actually, because that's reasonably empty, I'm going to swap it for that frame that's got brood in it and see if they bring that out. So then we're on to 11 frames of brood in this colony. Alright, so we'll move this pin back to here. So that is now a proper full nest. And I'll go and get them a, yeah, look, here we are, we've got a bit of bridge comb even. So they definitely need a super box. Bit more grub while we got. I've got to walk all the way back to the van. The thing is, you could say, well, why don't you bring all the supers down here, you idiot? But if you do that, it just attracts all the other bees. So you get, you know, like the instinct to rob and all that. So I'm just going to turn the video off and come back. Right, so I brought a super down. Got a wet super there to go on top. And I'm only going to bring one frame of bees down. Because it's a wet super, they'll go up into it anyway. So there's their familiar smell and route up to the next box. Should be in the middle, but these are fat frames, and so I'm not going to risk that. And there, if you've got well-behaved bees, it helps. And there's already a bee on that. There, look, you see they come in. This is the danger of bringing the wet supers down here. It encourages, or scout bees come and find it, and then you stick that wet super back onto a hive and it's got a mixture of 3 or 4 different colonies scout bees on it, then they'll disagree with everybody. It's not the same as shaking nurse bees from one colony to another. That would just be asking for trouble. Alright, so that's that one done. So we're going queen hunting next door. So we've got a virgin queen hopefully in here, so I'm not going to put masses of smoke in, but I'm going to calm the ones in the supers down. And then just a tiny bit of smoke near the nest box. So all of this feels pretty hefty, so now my concern is that we've only got 5 spare supers and I've got 6 hives here. Not very clever. So we'll just have to see how we go with each colony. That's heavy, but it's not horrendously heavy. Same with that. That one's just a bit lighter. So we may be able to do some reorganisation with that and get them some more space. But there are a load of drones here on the wrong side. And there's a lot of fussing from the drones, I must say, but that could be because they're on a final attempt to get in here. As always, proof is in the pudding. Bee bread and nothing. Whoa, it's a job to tell in this light, but that looks like there are eggs at the bottom of there, but I don't actually know. But that frame is nicely cleaned out, ready to go. Bee bread. Queen cells, all dry. So I'm going to move that forward just in case there is a nest. Sorry, back it. Well, actually, it can stay where it is. If there's that much room, it doesn't really matter. Nothing as yet. But a lot of noise. Or a lot of excitement sort of noise. So that queen was born. You can see that was a huge queen cell there. So something has been born. That's a whopper. So if there is a queen in here, it's going to be a good one. And there's another one that's been chewed on the underside. But as yet, no nest. So we might have had two queens born in here in a fight for supremacy. Masses of bee bread. Masses of bee bread that should be at the outside, but there's no nest. So I could actually move that to the back. If there is a queen in here, she wants this open stuff closer to the entrance, in my view. But sometimes they just start at the front and work back. I don't know why. See, they've cleaned all of this out really well. It does look like there's some sort of grub activity in there. So I think we might be in business here, but it's just not apparent yet. Or I'm just going to have a day without queen goggles on. And what we'll probably do, that's quite heavy, so that's all bee bread. Another frame of bee bread. That's all stored up with honey. So either she didn't come back because this is all drone and honey, or she hasn't come into lay yet, which is, you know, we're 4 weeks from swarming these, so goodness knows what. You know, a lot of beekeepers go in 3 weeks just to check that there's a queen. And due to the weather, I left these 4, and now we're still faffing around trying to look for somebody. I mean, they are scatty, which is a usual indication that they're queenless, but as yet they're not aggressive. So it might be she's out on a mating flight, It might be that she hasn't come into lay and I haven't seen her. So we'll just leave them a week. And see what happens. They haven't got that. They haven't got that. If you hear that, that's either hunger or no queen. Oh, I'll tell you what. Drop the queen excluder down there. That's really clever. Yeah, if you hear that roar, that sort of like that, that's a sure sign that they're either hungry or queenless. So, not a very successful day queen hunting today, or I just haven't got my goggles on. Right, let's see if we can organise this to give them a bit more room. If that is the problem. Well, there's a fair bit of room even at the edge. So I think we could probably take the top one, the top super, but I'm just going to leave them as they are. That is pretty heavy though, I have to say. Whoops. There are masses of drones up here. How on earth they get through the queen excluder, I don't know. That's pretty heavy as well. Come on mate, you need to get out. Right, so it may be there is a queen in there and she hasn't come into lay. We'll find out next week. So I'm just going to put this hive together and we'll go up to the top colony and work down again. I've done the smoke trick and I've put a new super, because as I lifted the thing up I felt that it was quite heavy. So I've already put the new super, or will put the new super in the roof over there. Okay. Alright, there's a bit of bridge comb here, but nothing horrendous. But because this colony's got a queen, then clearly they're going to get away quicker, aren't they? So you just have to be aware of that. That the colonies that are just having a queen, they've been 6 weeks or 5 weeks. Well, no, that's a lie actually. 4 weeks with no bees being born or laid. So that colony is declining rapidly, so they need less and less space until you find a new queen and discover she's getting going, whereas these are on the up. and I am being tagged by the colony next door that tagged me last week. So that might be, if we can get them through the season, that might be a colony to let go by natural means, or you know, just take the queen out and unite them at the end of the season. Lots of grubs, a few play cells. Oh, there she is, can you believe that? Scampering around like a good one. So we'll just give these a new box. That's full slab of brood, 2 slabs of brood, 3. That one's got a queen cell in it, which is annoying. So they are probably getting grumpy because they got lack of space. That's got another one in it, so they are thinking about it again. So I'm just going to knock these down this time, and hopefully that will be the end of it if we give them some more room. But if not, we're going to have to split them up into little nucleus boxes to save the queen doing a runner. So she is laying there and she's got plenty of grubs on the go. So it might just be a space thing with these. And this is the problem, you see, they've swarmed early. So now they think, oh, there's a chance of us going again now, if the food comes on stream again. And like I was saying earlier, if the blackberries come on, we're going to be struggling to keep up with this. We're going to have masses of honey and masses of swarms, second round of swarming. There are lots of bees in here, ready to be born. Yeah, that's all filled up with grubs. So there are at least 2 or 3 frames at the back there, full of grubs waiting to be born. A couple of frames here at the front, full of brood. Yeah, another one. So basically that nest is plugged, which is why they're thinking about swarming again. I'll just see what's on here. Yeah, nest, you see, and lovely, lovely, different coloured. Look at all those different coloured pollens. Stunning. Blues, oranges, all sorts of different colours. You see there's blue here, blue, red. I mean, that is the healthiest sign of a colony you can imagine. Nectar coming in, masses and masses of pollen, and different varieties of pollen. So that is a very healthy colony, and not a queen that we'd want to lose readily. So we'll give them another super, see if that calms them down. Right, see, we've got, because that's a wet super, just that time with this other super, and they've already come up looking to clean out that stuff. So there's no real need to, it's only if you're putting a new super on do you have to worry really about doing the 2 frames trick. If there's honey in the box, they'll come and find it. Right, that's them done. Right, this is, we're on colony 1. Normally we do colony 2 first, but we're doing colony 1. I've just noticed that thing slipped down. So yeah, we're doing this one first because I'm being tagged by that lot next door. The whole lot of that is pretty heavy, but whether it's full I don't know. So just while we're waiting for that to percolate, here is the that's what a queen cell looks like when it's been chewed out from the inside, if you like. You can just see it slightly concave as she's, where's my other finger? As she's chewed round the edge, she's pushed it outwards. You can just see that. Right, that's reasonably empty. So if there is a queen in here, I'll decide whether to give these another one and steal that. That's heavy as well. So that top one I could, look at all these drones the wrong side of the queen excluder. Can you see them all? Yeah, if there is a queen in here, then I'll give them a new box on top of the nest. Because they need room to expand, but you know, if there's no nest laying going on, there's no need for them to expand. They might as well just fill up what they've got. So that's an empty brood frame, no nest on it. That's an empty frame as well, no nest on it. And the cells look really clean, as if they're just about to be laid in, so we could just be a couple of days off her laying. just so difficult to tell. But they are quite calm for bees that haven't got a queen, I have to say. There's the cell that's born, or was born. No eggs. Pretty much everything with beekeeping takes a long time, except the rate that they can change. They can spin on a dime like we saw last week. So that is a food frame. So I'm going to put that at the back in case, again, in case there is a queen in here. We'll move all the laying area towards the front and just leave these food frames at the back. Again, they're filling that up with nectar, not nest. That could be because they haven't got enough room up top. I don't know. Bit of a mystery this year. So there's a bee there doing a waggle dance. So she's trying to excite her mates and tell them there's something going on. So she's found something. Hasn't found a queen though. Those two could go forward actually because they're full of food, as is that one. And this one. So all three of those could go forward or back. So as yet, it's a pretty unsuccessful year for rearing queens. Well, unless we come back next week and they're just jammed packed full of them. I don't know. So we'll give them another week. I think it was these, was it these? Which three was it that were full of food? Those three. So they can go to the back and we'll pull the empty ones forward, I think. that's the one with the pin on, isn't it? So these can all go back. I'll stick the nest with the nesting frames in the middle. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it may be just like it was down at the other apiary last year. You come back and then suddenly there's a nest. That has happened to me on numerous occasions. Nothing much to report on that one, a bit odd. Unless, of course, the queen has come up into the supers, which is a nightmare. Sometimes they do. Just going to have a look at one frame for evidence of eggs. Masses of drones up here, you see, so it could be that the drones chased the queen up through the queen excluder and then got stuck. These at the back are empty and no eggs, so that does happen. There's a few drones coming out there. Just honey, no eggs. So it is always worth checking, just in case. There are a couple of days this week where it's predicted to rain, so I'm not going to go too mad with them. They'll wait another week, just, I hope. Right, I've done the smoke trick because, again, I wanted to weigh the super. I might yet go up and get them a spare super, but at the moment I might keep it for the colony next door. I'm not sure yet. We could check them, but they were the last. This one was the last colony to swarm, wasn't it? So yeah, we could do that, or we'll just leave them. Sorry, I've just been hassled and tagged by bees, so she's gone. I'm fed up with it. Anyway, after last week, it gets under your skin after a while. This sort of erratic flying is, they're not wired up right. Not too dissimilar to some human beings, but that's another story. So I could leave going through the colony next door till next week, but because it's a nice day, I might just bite the bullet and do it in case it turns next week and it's horrible. Open food and a slab of honey, that could go, that frame. Lots of pollen. I have got oh, here's the queen. Even though I squirted the smoke at the back, there she is. So I might go, I think I might go and get her another frame to lay in and get rid of this frame at the back, because that's all laid out and that's all laid out. So again, I will put a super on these, an empty one, just because it looks like either the weather's indicating to them to keep going. Yeah, not a full slab of brood, but enough. Yeah, full slab of brood, so yeah, they need somewhere to go. Yeah, all eggs and grubs. Cup cell dry. Eggs and grubs. Another cup cell here, dry. Yep, so even though they're not filling that top super, because now look, that's all full of grubs. They will need the space. Yeah, that's full of grubs as well. So is this the better frame to get shot of or keep? So that's food, not much pollen. So I think what I'm going to do is steal that food, not much pollen, and put this one at the front, even though it's not much of a frame. There's more pollen in there, so it's more useful to them. And I'll go and get them a super and that last frame for her to lay on. So I'll turn the film off and I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back. Right, where's my... Right, in a bit. I'm back. Right. It doesn't look like there's many bees in here, but there are. So that's all pollen. So actually that can go back here. And then we'll move this one back, and I think she was on here, wasn't she? Yeah, there she is. Looking for somewhere to lay. So take this one out. And put this one in and back to where the queen was, because don't forget she was on that side. And you don't want to roll her, do we? Because they might be valuable this year by the look of it. That can come off. Alright, so she's got more space to lay. What's that? That gives the bees who are in there something to do when they're born. Sorry, I just snapped another bee. I'll just get fed up with being tagged. If you hit them all, then they're not going to do it anymore. What is this behaviour all about? Oh, there was a spare drawing pin to put on there, like that, and then a roof, and that's it. Right, so go by the goings. What is it? Strike while the iron's hot, or make hay while the sun shines. So we will have a look through those next door, I think. Right, just to let you know about last week as well, I'm filming with a smartphone, and I've got these gloves on, which are a little bit dirty now, but I can actually make the screen work with these. I had the leather gloves on when I got attacked, and yeah, it wouldn't operate the screen. So basically I had to shut down the whole filming and stuff, because I just had to walk away. I'd left all the hives open, and I just had to walk away and get suited and booted in my onesie, get leather gloves on, and then I just couldn't operate the phone anymore. It's not that I didn't want to show you, I just couldn't. So that's something to bear in mind if you're going to use these smartphones as an emergency, to call the emergency services if you get anaphylactic shock or something. But yeah, just bear in mind, sometimes you're better off with one of the old school phones like I've got, that's just clicky buttons. I don't know how you operate these things if you can't push the, you know, if the screen doesn't work, what the hell do you do? Anyway, I'll stop ranting now. So here we go on the last colony. We're going to have to check them for space and a queen, I think. I'm just going to run with it and just check for a queen anyway. It does feel like it wants to rain. And that one's quite heavy, so we might be stealing another super from them anyway. that can probably go, that one. Well, it will be going actually. That one's quite light. So I'm hoping, yeah, this one's got a bit in it, so that second one could swap with this one. And I'm going to do that now. Maybe no need for wet super, but I'm going to put one on anyway, just in case. So this is the standard textbook method. Give them 2 weeks and there should be a queen. Give them 3 weeks, I mean there should be a queen. Oh, will you clear off? Sorry, there's a bee just constantly in my face. Gets a bit wearing, especially after last week. Right. Again, there's a huge queen cell there. That has hatched out. So as before, if there is a queen in here, she's going to be a monster. Loads of pollen, no nest. Storing nectar. Storing nectar. Masses of pollen. Masses of pollen. That can go back. Just in case there is a queen. So this might be a wasted journey this week. Yeah, masses of pollen. So they're not short of resources.